factoring polynomials. You will almost always use factoring when solving problems involving quadratic equations. One method to do this is called the diamond method. So called because you draw a diamond to help you solve the problem. In the top corner, you'll write the last term. And in the bottom corner, you write the coefficient of the second term. To find the factors, you must figure out what two numbers when multiplied together equal -12 and when added together equal -4. Thinking for a moment gives us -6 and 2. We write those in the left and right hand corners. These are the numbers we'll use to write the factors. You can then rewrite the right side of this equation as x minus 6 times x plus 2. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that we must not have a coefficient of other than 1 for x squared. Otherwise, we'll have to use a different method. The tic-tac-toe method uses a tic-tac-toe board to factor this quadratic. Because the coefficient of x squared is not 1, we can't use the diamond method. To use the tic-tac-toe method, write the first term in the upper left corner. Write the last term in the upper center, and write the second term in the upper right corner. For the first two columns, the numbers below each term must be multiplied together to get the term at the top. In the case of 2x squared, we can only have 2x and x. For -3, we have two possibilities, -3 and 1, or 3 and -1. Before we write anything, we must think about what happens after we write the terms in. For each row, we'll multiply the two terms and put the product in the right-hand column. Then we'll add those numbers and hopefully the sum will be the term in the upper right corner. So the placement of the numbers is important because that will affect whether I've got the correct factors or not. Pausing to think a moment, I'm sure I'll need to use -3 and 1 because I need a -5x. Since it is -5x, I'm going to write the -3 in the middle box and the 1 in the lower box. So 2x times -3 is -6x, and x times 1 is a 1x, or just x. -6x plus 1x is -5x. So my factors are found by circling the parts kitty corner from each other. So this trinomial factors into 2x plus 1 times x minus 3. Other trinomials you'll encounter that are not quadratic will always have a degree of 3 or higher. But usually it will be 3, and usually they'll look like this. In this case, we see that each term of the trinomial has a common factor, x. Therefore, we can factor x out and figure out what I need to multiply it by to get the original polynomial. To get 2x cubed, you'd have to multiply x by 2x squared. To get -9x squared, I'd have to multiply x by -9x. And to get 10x, I'd have to multiply x by 10. Now I can use one of my other methods to solve this quadratic. Since the coefficient of x squared is not 1, we'll use the tic-tac-toe method. So the final factoring is x times the quantity 2x minus 5 times x minus 2. We can factor larger polynomials if we're given enough of the roots so that we can get a quadratic. In this case, we're given that x equals 4 is a root. Therefore, x minus 4 is a factor. To find out what the polynomial looks like after we factor it out, we can use what's called synthetic division. To do it, you write the root in a space like this. Then, on the same line, you write the coefficients of the polynomial, including the sign to the left of the coefficient. Draw a bar below, but leave some space. Bring the first number straight down under the bar. Then multiply 4 by 1 and write it under the 4 here. Add these two and write the sum below the bar. Repeat this process until you finish. This 0 here means that 4 is a factor of the polynomial, which we knew. The other numbers are the coefficients of a polynomial that remains after x minus 4 is factored out. This means that it is 1 degree less than the original. I can now factor this using the diamond method. The result is x minus 4 times x plus 3 times x plus 5. Factoring is one way to find roots of a function. Roots are anywhere that the function is equal to 0. Think x-intercepts. This can help us if we want to graph the function. After factoring, you have two terms that multiplied together equal 0. This can happen if one or the other is 0. So, set each factor equal to 0 and solve. There are two solutions, x equals 2 and x equals 4. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.